good first day. Split practice today. Wanted to get an opportunity to see a lot of new guys, kind of see the growth of what we've done throughout the course of the summer. Some new guys that just entering the program, to give them a baseline of where they're at. Second practice was a little slower, a little more controlled to kind of bring those guys along. But I thought all in all it was a good day. Anytime you cut down the numbers like this, it definitely jumps on them, and so that's kind of what we wanted to see here at the beginning. Some things that you're hopeful to see, and then obviously a lot of things that we're going to have to continue to focus on and continue to clean up as we move forward through fall camp. But all in all, I thought it was a very productive day one.
With the players that were here in the spring, did you see a solid carryover of technique fundamentals and stuff you kind of reiterated in the spring today?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a big thing that as you go through, spring ball, you get to have those 15 practices, and you harp on that throughout the summer meetings. And there's some things that we're limited to, and just not in the application of that. But you encourage them to be working. You encourage that to have that focus. And they came out today, and we definitely have a better sense of where we're supposed to be going, and how we're supposed to be executing that through the fundamentals and technique. And just the consistency of that is what has to show up, especially when you get hot, when you get tired. When you have something that changes in front of you in a split second, to be able to trust those fundamentals in that moment.
Coach, I know it's only the first practice, but can you see a difference between the first practice this camp, because you had a full off season, compared to your first practice last camp?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a lot better understanding and confidence in what it needs to look like, how we need to work. It's still a day one, and so there's the guys' confidence in the concepts and the schemes of what we're asking. It's definitely a marked improvement, but it should be.
What did you think during the 7-on-7s in the early practice, just the competition between the receivers and the DBs?
No, I thought it was good. I thought we had some good back and forth, some nice catches, some really good plays, and from the defensive backfields, a couple of interceptions that were created. That's what you're hopeful to see. Guys flying around. The defensive back group has to be a strength for us this year. We've added some newcomers that have come in that I think really are going to contribute in a lot of great ways. And the guys that were young that were forced into action last year, they're developing, and so. That's got to be a great unit for us. I really liked what I saw. It was good to get Kiera Thomas out there this morning. I know it's not defensive back 7-on-7, but he was somebody that we were excited to see, and he's been so engaged since the very first day that he got on campus. You're probably one of the smartest defensive linemen that we have, one of maybe the smartest football players that we have. But to see that transition quickly was really good. And we had some guys that were out. Jerry and Jones is going to be out right here for the first part of camp. As we go through, and that opens up other opportunities for different guys, and so that competition is something that's important, and it was good to see some of the young guys here in the afternoon practice really fly around. I know a couple of those guys I mentioned yesterday in the press conference. I thought Shaim did some good things. You see his length and just size at the safety position. It's impressive. And, some of the young guys Andrew Parchment's not a young guy, but we wanted to bring him along in the second practice just so we kind of get a sense of the morning, and he definitely showed up really well here this afternoon. Obviously we're going to have an accelerated process for him as he continues to jump into it.
Mike's the first time in a while you've had Jordan Wilson out this morning, coming back from injury. How does he look, and what's that going to do for you having another tight end with his skills out there?
I thought he had a great morning, and to see even just some of the subtle things that he does. You got a tight end that's almost 270 pounds at his size, and to be able to move like he does, it was impressive. And he's got some natural route running ability. Him coupled with Cam and some of the newcomers that have come in. I thought Jackson West had a really good practice here this afternoon. A guy that he was hampered a little bit in spring ball, but I thought he really had some nice moments. And so, having a guy like Jordan with his physicality, the size, and then doing what he did today, catching the ball, that could be a real weapon for us.
Coach talked about Kid Thomas, about just having those new guys in there together, and one area that you really want to improve both the pass rush last year. So those guys continue to get those reps in there.
And it's going to be something that's going to, the continuity and consistency of that work day in and day out. Jermaine looked good today. Kier, seeing guys like Derek McClendon and young guys that have played that need to take those steps and those strides. It was good to see. And then you'll hear this afternoon, you're getting Marcus out, a guy that like we thought. You know, a very explosive mover, strong. Really liked what I saw from a couple of those young defensive linemen as well. Those guys their heads spinning a little bit with just the tempo, but I thought they did some good things as well throughout the practice.
I imagine Demore and Chuba were probably happy to get back out there.
No, absolutely. I thought Chuba did some really good things today. I mean, you could see, he said it's been a long year for him, to say that, and he has pushed, he's fought, he's stayed true to the work and all the things that he needed to do. I thought it was a really good first day for him. Had some great plays and had some plays that he's going to be able to learn on just from that experience. And that's really you think for somebody to be here for a year, and the limited reps that he's gotten. I mean, he's almost like a first-year player, and but the knowledge that he's gained and the investment that he's made, it's really going to help him. Demore getting out there and moving around, he's going to be somewhat limited. A couple of those guys in the defensive backfield will be limited here just for the first part of it. But it's great to see him out there, getting out there to compete, and you see just the physical development that's changed in his body. I mean, that's what you want him to look like. And, his mindset and maturity is really showing up.
You may not be able to kind of get the full picture until pads are on, but a little more complete offensive line today. What did you see from them, especially in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the confidence. I mean, Maurice Smith, Bavion Johnson, those are just two guys that I think have invested so much time in the meeting room. The ownership of what they're doing and how they're trying to take control and command of the O-line group. It was good to see Dylan Gibbons, coming in a very short period of time, and just even the confidence of what he did. We're looking at some different combinations. You've got Rob Scott over on the left side. That's something that we're excited about. Darius has had an unbelievable summer. He's up an all-time high for him. Just body weight wise with the right weight, and just the strength. People forget that he missed an entire offseason last year in all aspects, and couldn't lift. Was very not to say weak, but just wasn't able to train last year, and to have this offseason really kind of boosted his confidence, and seeing those guys compete was good.
Zane's another guy we kind of forget about.
Another guy that went through the year, had surgery, and was out for the year, and really was limited in the way that he could train. But he's had a great summer. He went through the spring and did some good things, but really you're seeing that confidence that's emerging through this offseason. And I think he's got a great future in front of him, and a really high ceiling.
Coach Cam made a comment earlier today about just how this locker room is the most tight, most cohesive that he's seen since he's been here. What have you done? What have they done to kind of strengthen that bond?
They're willing to invest time in each other. There's a lot of things that we do when you walk in that building that kind of forces guys to get to know each other. But they still got to have a willingness and have true care and investment, and that's where I think this team is. We look for a certain type of young man here at Florida State. We want guys that are willing to work, and guys that relationships are important to. Relationships with their coaches, relationships with their teammates. I mean, those things are critical. And, that's what this team is built upon, and we're going to continue to grow in that aspect of it as well. And I think that's just some of the first stages of what we want to see. And we've got to continue to grow in that throughout camp.
Jarquez made some plays this morning too. Is that coming?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a guy that he started at corner for his his first 2 years at his previous institution. Coming in here, being able to play free safety, and it really adds to the talent and the potential and the competition at that spot. He definitely showed up today. He was a guy that I was really pleased to see him making plays on the ball. Trayshawn, I think we talked about in the spring. I mean, he was a guy that came out of last fall that I was really pleased with. It's known that he's been put on scholarship, and that really affected in some ways just our overall approach in recruiting with the class, because I think he's got an unbelievable upside. And I've been around some good backs in my career, and Trayshawn has a natural skill set, and just feel in his running style, toughness, ball skills out of the backfield. He's somebody that I think can really be an impact player.
All right.